This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Take a look at this. A truck burst into flames this afternoon. It happened on Ashley Drive in West Fargo. We're told the truck is used to carry equipment to work on homes in the area. One person is in the hospital after they tried to move the burning truck out of the driveway so the house wouldn't catch on fire.
Yeah, I consider ourselves pretty lucky. I mean, my partner got away with some decent burns. He's on his way right now over to Sanford Hospital. They're going to take care of him there. I hope he's in good hands, so.
There's no word on a cause yet. Stick with Valley News Live as we continue to learn more on this breaking story.
We lay to rest a leader, a mentor, a friend, a brother.
Law enforcement and community members packed the pews at Northview Church to pay their respects to a fallen officer and his family. 40-year-old Adam Gustafson died of a heart attack while on duty earlier this month. Among others, North Dakota Congressman Kelly Armstrong and West Fargo Police Chief Dennis Otterness gave remarks at the service.
A person's life can often be measured by the impact they've made on others. Lieutenant Adam Gustafson definitely made a positive and lasting impact to those around him, both professionally and personally.
Lieutenant Gustafson served the West Fargo community 12 years. He leaves behind a wife and 3 children. The community of Grand Forks will be remembering and honoring Officer Cody Holte, who died in the line of duty 1 year ago tomorrow. It was May 27th of 2020 when Officer Holte responded to an apartment in the 2600 block of South 17th Street to help other officers serve an eviction notice. Deputies were overtaken by heavy gunfire. Officer Holte later died at All True Hospital. Solomon Pendleton faces 8 charges, including 2 counts of murder for the deaths of both Officer Holte and for his mother, Lola Moore. Court records show Pendleton's trial is set to start on June 29th. Because tomorrow's ceremony will not be open to the public, we will have a live stream of it for you at 8:30 tomorrow morning on our website, valleynewslive.com. We can't seem to shake the cool weather, and the frost possibility is still there for some areas. Let's get more on this evening from Hutch.
Thanks, Andrea. Good evening, everyone. As we head into our evening after a very chilly day today, it looks like more of the same. In fact, even colder for some. We started out at freezing in Langdon, 36, Roseau 39, Fergus Falls, and in Fargo-Moorhead. Grand Forks, you started out the day with 37. We did not warm up too much. North winds keeping us cool. 40s in northwest Minnesota, all we could muster on this day. Speaking of northwest Minnesota, it wasn't just cold. That is some horizontally flying frozen precipitation particles there captured by the DOT camera. Freeze warning tonight now along the international border. Frost elsewhere along and north of Highway 2. We do have heavy rain setting up in parts of South Dakota with a little thunder and lightning there. And that is working its way along the South Dakota border. So the decent chance along Interstate 94 and point south, it's seeing some measurable rainfall this evening, and it lasted the overnight when it could change to a few flakes for some. I'll have more on that in a second. Right now, your temperatures in Fargo will drop down into the 40s. It will be cloudy. The wind will decrease a little bit, and we are watching for some accumulation potential. Looks like the best will be out west and south. I'll have hour-by-hour details, Andrea, on what you can expect here in just a few minutes.
Okay. Thanks, Hutch. Students have just been released from a middle school in Williston, North Dakota, after a gun was found this afternoon. Police responded to Williston Middle School just after 1 for a report of a weapon found on campus. The school and nearby Bakken Elementary were put into lockdown for about 2 hours. Williston police say this was an isolated incident and no one was hurt. A 21-year-old is in jail after officers in Stutsman County found a large amount of drugs, cash, and a gun during a routine traffic stop. Colton Dade was arrested and charged with possession with intent to deliver fentanyl and meth, possession of drug paraphernalia, and carrying a concealed weapon. The Stutsman County Sheriff's Office seized about 200 suspected fentanyl pills, 20 grams of meth, $1,400 in cash, and a loaded firearm during the stop. The drugs have an estimated street value of about $8,000. Officers are warning the public the pills are designed to look like oxycodone, but they do contain fentanyl. A former Otter Tail County deputy has signed a plea deal for his role in a chase that killed 2 people. Kelly Backman agreed to plead guilty to misconduct, but a charge of DWI will likely be dismissed. The deputy was chasing a suspect in Fergus Falls last October, which led to a crash that killed Steve and Diane Christensen of Fergus Falls. A blood test showed Backman was under the influence of fentanyl at the time of the crash. The plea agreement calls for 30 days in jail or electronic home monitoring. Tonight, people in San Jose, California are reeling from a workplace massacre. A gunman opened fire at a rail maintenance yard where he worked. At least 8 people are dead. Chris Pallone has the latest.
It has happened again, this time at a light rail maintenance yard in San Jose, California.
This is a horrific day for our city, and it's a tragic day for the BTA family.
It happened around 6:30 in the morning. Law enforcement sources say Samuel Cassidy, a Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority employee, is the person who suddenly started shooting.
I can confirm with you right now that we do have multiple victims and we have multiple casualties at this point.
Within moments, several people called 911 reporting an active shooter. Officers arrived a short time later.
While the shots are still being fired, our teams with San Jose PD are entering the building while shots are still going off. We attempted rescues.
Not long after it started, the sheriff's department tweeted, "Shooter is down." Some sources tell NBC News Cassidy killed himself after carrying out the massacre.
The suspect is deceased at this point.
Family members of people who work at the rail yard rushed to the scene to find out whether their loved ones were okay.
She just gave me a call saying that stuff was going down and somebody was shooting. She dropped her phone and just came by to see if anybody was injured and see if I can pick up my mother.
Not far from the shooting scene, firefighters battled a house fire they call suspicious. NBC Bay Area reports the home belonged to Samuel Cassidy. Bomb technicians are checking for explosives inside the home and at the shooting scene. The FBI has joined local police to investigate the shooter and to try to figure out the toughest question: why?
The White House says it is monitoring the situation. The mayor of San Jose said Vice President Kamala Harris called him to offer support from the White House. The South Dakota Attorney General is headed to trial for hitting and killing a man with his car. Jason Ravensborg is charged with 3 misdemeanors: careless driving, driving while on an electronic device, and driving outside of his lane. The state says he was distracted. He told officials he thought he hit a deer. He swerved out of his lane and hit a 55-year-old man who was walking on the shoulder with a flashlight. Investigators say that man had crashed headfirst through the windshield. Ravensborg is due in court on August 26th. 200 deer will eventually be killed in Minnesota because of chronic wasting disease. The Minnesota Board of Animal Health is concerned about the disease spreading after a number of infections from a Beltrami County deer farm were found in other parts of the state and beyond. A deer in the Beltrami County herd tested positive in April for the fatal brain wasting disease. As a result, 54 deer were killed, 12 tested positive for CWD. Investigators have now found links to farmed deer herds in at least 5 other counties. 2 North Dakota lawmakers are asking health officials to stop calling residents for information on the coronavirus vaccine. Senators Jessica Bell and Nicole Poolman expressed their concern about the role of state government in personal health choices and patient privacy. The state health officer says the calls are a well-established, effective tool to increase immunization coverage. Minnesota housing officials are urging state lawmakers to proceed carefully in negotiating an end to a moratorium on rental property evictions. Because of COVID-19, landlords dealing with loud parties, police calls, and threatening behavior haven't been able to evict misbehaving tenants. Those behind on rent also could not be evicted due to the executive order aimed at keeping people in stable housing during the pandemic. Food boxes are being distributed in Moorhead right now. They include produce, dairy, and meat products. Anyone can pick up a box, and there are no eligibility requirements. The food boxes are available at the Moorhead Center Mall now until 6 p.m. Students that are nonverbal will have a new way to communicate with their classmates. Freedom and Ellie Berger Elementary Schools have added this communication board to their playgrounds. The board includes pictures for nonverbal students to reference what they're trying to say or do. This will help students with a wide range of speech or language barriers. It was made possible by a grant from the West Fargo Educational Foundation. It is Davies Day at Davies High School. The event, it's an annual event where students get to unwind at the end of the year. This morning, students braved the wind and chilly temps for Chalk Fest, the sidewalk art competition. We're told it was even more exciting this year for a number of reasons.
So excited to actually be able to see the students out here. Just enjoying the day. We didn't get to do it last year because of COVID, obviously, and then actually the year before we got rained out. So the seniors this year are the only ones who have actually gotten to participate in this before.
This is the first time in 2 years Davies students have been able to take part in Chalk Fest. As she mentioned, last year it was canceled because of COVID. A once-in-a-lifetime traffic stop for the North Dakota Highway Patrol. A woman was stopped twice for speeding on I-94. She was pulled over in Stutsman County and given a ticket for driving 90 in a 75-mile-per-hour zone. Then she was pulled over about an hour later near Castleton. But here's something else. The woman had 2 goats in her back seat. She told troopers she was heading to New York from Washington with the animals and that the goats were driving her nuts. Still to come, humongous hoagie now on sale at Disneyland, but it also comes with a mind-boggling price tag. Stay with us.
Ozo County this morning joining the flaky fun, if you want to call it that. Thanks, Jeanette, for uploading your photo. That bird bath is empty. I don't think I'd want to take a bath out in the snow either. Hey, our late frost dates, we're by them, but we have frost and freezing conditions on the way and flakes as well. Your forecast is next.